For decades now, the objective of drug policy should be to reduce as close to possible the number of people using drugs, to get as close as possible to creating a drug-free society. And I reject that as an objective. I think that is an objective that is impossible, and pursuing it risks imposing almost totalitarian policies to get as close to a drug-free society as possible. We need to redefine the objectives of our drug policy. I grew up in an ordinary suburban community. My dad, though, was a rabbi, and my mom came from a traditional Jewish family, and so it was a strong sort of moral sensibility. And then when I'm 18, I go to college in McGill in Montreal, and people are drinking, and I started smoking cannabis. I enjoyed it. Many of my friends did too. A few of them had problems with it. But some of them were getting arrested. They were getting stopped at the border. They were getting in trouble. And something just hit me at that time. I said, there's something wrong with this. This sense that the drug war was wrong, it wasn't just my own personal sense about being potentially victimized by these laws, but that the fundamental way we were dealing with drugs in our society was flawed, that it was grounded in fear and ignorance and prejudice and profit.
It started 2 years ago with marijuana cigarettes.
Gee, I feel awful funny.
Several weeks later, after smoking reefers, Marty's befogged brain hit on a clever way to open pop bottles. Marty badly cut the inside of his mouth, though he didn't even know it at the time.
That set of myths that drive our drug policy actually is responsible for almost 2 million Americans being arrested each year. It's responsible for 500,000 or more of our fellow citizens being locked up behind bars tonight. It's responsible for the country spending $50 to $100 billion a year trying to enforce these unenforceable laws. Well, come on to my office. You know, when you're in my line of work, it's interesting what you get for presents. And so here's a couple of the boxes, the Kellogg's boxes of Corn Flakes. And this is crazy. I mean, Michael Phelps, you know, an international hero, age 23, smokes a joint, which is something that about half of all other 23-year-olds might do. And in his case, the guy's, you know, spent half his life underwater, right? Now he's finally taking a break. So for us, that was kind of a, in some respects, almost a turning point, because you began to hear more and more people, including on talk radio and elsewhere, op-ed columnists, saying enough is enough already. It used to be, until recently, that people did not talk about the issue of making marijuana legal as a serious policy option. Why is Governor Schwarzenegger saying we need a debate on legalizing marijuana? Why is the Attorney General of Arizona, Terry Goddard, son of a governor, wants to be a governor himself, fairly conservative guy, why is he saying we need a debate on legalizing marijuana? Because he's looking at the fact that the Mexican drug gangs are making over half their money from the marijuana business. And he recognizes that the best way to hit them hard is to make the stuff legal and take it away from them, just like we did with Al Capone during alcohol prohibition. I think the greatest obstacle right now is the fear of the unknown. When people voted in 1933 to repeal alcohol prohibition, they could remember a period when alcohol was legal. But with marijuana, almost nobody alive today remembers when marijuana were legal. It's the fear of the devil we don't know over the devil we do.
I'm Nadia Swaby with the Marijuana Policy Project. Welcome to Marijuana 2-Minute Truths. We've received lots of emails from viewers who want to know about the long-term health effects of marijuana, particularly what, if any, damage smoking marijuana causes to your lungs. Your lungs bring essential oxygen into your body, so of course hurting your lungs is a terrible idea. Did you know, for instance, that nearly 500,000 Americans die every year from tobacco-related lung disorders? If you've been paying attention, you probably did. But do you know how many people have ever died from marijuana-related cancer? 0. No one. Marijuana has never been shown to cause cancer in humans, and the largest, most definitive epidemiological studies have failed to find an association between marijuana use and lung cancer, or any other kind of cancer typically linked with smoking cigarettes. In 2006, Dr. Donald Tashkin of UCLA published what is perhaps the most famous of the marijuana lung cancer studies. The study of 2,200 people in Los Angeles found that even heavy marijuana smokers were no more likely to develop lung cancer than non-users, in contrast with tobacco users whose risk increases the more they smoke. Interestingly, this study was funded by the National Institute on Drug Abuse. Dr. Tashkin was later quoted in the Washington Post. We hypothesized that there would be a positive association between marijuana use and lung cancer, and that the association would be more positive with heavier use. What we found instead was no association at all, and even a suggestion of some protective effect. In fact, some scientific studies have shown a trend toward lower lung cancer rates among marijuana smokers than non-smokers, suggesting that marijuana's active components, cannabinoids, have anti-tumor properties. Take a look at these findings. Cannabinoids are selective anti-tumor compounds, as they can kill tumor cells without affecting their non-transformed counterparts. A strong and statistically significant anti-tumor effect was observed, in particular for a highly malignant human breast carcinoma cell line. Cannabidiol and cannabidiol-rich extract counteract tumor cell growth. This should not be taken to mean marijuana is good for you. No one is saying that. But how can marijuana be illegal when it has never been proven to have killed a single person through overdose or illness in 5,000 years of recorded history, while in the next hour, approximately 50 Americans will die from a tobacco-related illness? This has been your 2-Minute Truth. Marijuana has not been shown to cause lung cancer, but cannabinoids may help fight cancer. I'm Nadia Swaby with the Marijuana Policy Project. Don't forget to email us your questions. Send them to socialnetwork@mpp.org with the subject line Ask Nadia. Goodbye.
In 1923, the Canadian government criminalized marijuana with no public debate or scientific basis. 2001, marijuana was approved for medicinal use. 2003, a review of 15 studies concluded that chronic marijuana use causes no significant impairments. 2002, Canada's Senate recommended that marijuana should be legal. These are real facts. The law bans us from lying on TV, and the 85-year-old law still bans us from possessing marijuana. Brought to you by the Toronto Seed Bank.